Hi, I'm Mike Hudson from St. Gerard's. I'm the chairperson of the community dinners, and they've asked me to do this recording. So this is on the community dinners. So we started this. A family from St. Gerard's did. They went up to Houghton Hancock to a Little Brothers Friends of the Elderly for Christmas dinner day to do. So they did that 2 years in a row, and then they decided to bring it back to St. Gerard's in 1987. And so the family got with the St. Vincent de Paul group and Father Feedwall, and it was started. And then there was only 10 guests, so they decided to make it more intimate by having it at their home, and so they did that. And then the next year they took it over to Father Weber Hall, and we had 25 people. But since then, it's grown to about 350 guests a day, and then 300 on Christmas, and then 150 to 200 on Easter. And then each meal we send out about 100 meals to go that they take with them. And we picked up the tradition that the Little Brothers does up there with using linen, real dishes, silverware, candles, and serving it family style. And then the St. Gerard's kids make up placemats and cards for the holiday. And then Shelley Starr gets all the desserts rounded up with all the parishioners, gets them to the Father Weber Hall, and then Mike Egan coordinates all the driving, and they'll pick up about 100 to 130 guests. And then the volunteers come in 3 shifts. There's the morning shift of setting up, cooking, putting together our personal needs kits. They're the toothbrush, toothpaste, toilet paper. And then the second shift is serving and cleaning up. And of course, the other shift is the drivers. And we use 20 to 25 drivers each meal. And then we decide to have it on the holiday for the event. It's on Christmas, Thanksgiving, and Easter, because we already have Christmas and every day of the year, so why not give our Christmas to them as a present? And then we can go from there, and we have the guests for like probably 2 hours, 2 hours and a half. And the theory is with us that we only have that short time. We should spoil them and give them anything they want. And the kitchen crew that does the cooking for the kids here at the school, they put up with us really nicely because we tear apart the kitchen and whatever, and they help us get it back in order. And then we take the desserts and put them on trays, and then we take them out to the table to the guests, and they get how many they want, and get as many chocolate or white milk they want. And sometimes there'll be a volunteer that hadn't worked before, and they'll say, "Mike, did you see that person over there, that guest? He took out a Ziploc bag and took all the meat off the platter." And I said, "Yeah, that happens. I think they need it more than we do, so don't worry about it. It's okay if they do that." And then we call it organized chaos, and but it all works out with substance. So then another guest, Fran Davis, she always called Mike Egan ahead of time, wanted to reserve the corner in Father Weber Hall off to this way so she could look out over the crowd, because she was in a wheelchair. And every meal, all 3 of them a year, she comes and has her spot reserved. But the sad thing about that is we've had a lot of guests over the years, and all of a sudden they don't show up. We try to track them down, we find out they passed away. But then that reminds me of another story about Father John and I got called over to a table of the the elderly women. There's 6 or 7 at the table, and they give Father John a card, and he opened it, and there was $12.83 in it. They gave from their substance. They wanted to help with the dinner, you know? So, yeah. And then there's 2 homeless guys that got picked up a couple Christmases ago. And they were brought in by one of the drivers, and they said they were homeless and this and that. And before the dinner was over, we called a hotel, got a room, and we got enough money to put them up for a room for 5 days. And then we called Paul Miller from the Homeless Angels, and then he went over the day after Christmas with a caseworker, and he got them into the Homeless Angels, and then they went from there to being self-sustainable. So there's a lot of stuff the parish really does, and it's just really cool how they all come together. And then we just want to thank everybody at St. Gerard, the school kids for doing their cards, the women that make the desserts, all the volunteers and everything they do in the prayers and the donations. It's just, we just want to thank them. If you get an opportunity, volunteer and just look in the bulletin and in the web page for more information. Thank you.